welcome back to the Amania Show. Welcome or welcome back. Either way, we are happy to have you here. And so, friends, we're going to dive into today's conversation. You saw that thumbnail, monster or target. We're going to peel back the onion today on who Jimmy Barbecue Chérizier is. Let's get started. So, friends, what if the biggest lie about gangs in Haiti is just that, a lie? What if the biggest lie is who they tell you is responsible for the chaos and the gangs and the craziness that we see there? Because, friends, when you watch the mainstream media, when you watch the news, you already have this vision of Jimmy Barbecue. You see him. He's a gang leader. He's a warlord. He's a terrorist. He's a monster. He's everything that is horrific, right? This is who he is. He is horrific. But what if the story is more complicated than that? Today, we are not here to defend Jimmy Barbecue. We are not here to condemn Jimmy Barbecue. We are here to ask some questions the media rarely ask, because Haiti has been suffering for a very, very, very long time. And friends, somewhere, somebody does benefit. So this is what we're talking about today. And later on in the Culture Corner, we've got a couple of stories. First story, Congressman Thomas Massie losing his seat. I think a line has been drawn in the sand. And so we're going to get into that later on. And then story number 2 we're going to be looking at is, would you imagine, Christians, when you go to church, that your phone would be targeted so that they can sell you propaganda for a foreign country? And we're also going to update you on what happened with the Take Back Summer that happened over the weekend and last week. So, welcome back to the conversation with me, Amania. So, friends, housekeeping, before we go any further, disclaimer, and I want to say it once again, disclaimer. This is an investigative query, personal testimonies and opinions, okay? All claims are allegedly, potentially, and possibly sourced from publicly available content, interviews here on the World Wide Web. We are not here to convict. We are here to ask questions. Freedom of speech, freedom of the press, granted to us by the United States U.S. Constitution. And another housekeeping, you can amplify your voice here on the show. We have the super chat feature where you can present and like, share, comment, also participate in the conversation. So now let us get back into the conversation. Before we talk about Jimmy Barbecue, I would like to talk a little bit about my own experience. So back in 2011, I went to Haiti. I visited for the first time since I left there as a little girl. And so when I got there, I was not very politically astute as I am now. Back then, I was a little bit more, I was in a different world. I wasn't paying attention to politics, paying attention to all of these things. But I do know that the country had its issues. And again, I was not very involved in the conversation. And even for a long time, I wasn't involved in the conversation as far as Haiti goes. And that's why we have the Discovering Haiti, or Uncovering Haiti, as I should say, series that I decided to get into because I wanted to learn and understand. And this was, again, this Discovering Haiti only came forth recently. So back in 2011 when I visited, and this was after the earthquake, that had devastated the country, I took a trip with my mother, and it was an amazing experience to have first traveled with her back, at that time. So it really broke my heart, like just landing at the airport, like coming out of the airport. It was crazy, bizarre. I mean, the people were out there. It was heartbreaking to see. And truth be told, I could walk in the hood of some places in America and it'd be looking the same thing, if we're being honest. So yes, it's called a third world country, but there are places in America, if you wanted to say, you know what, I can't believe that this is America. Well, when I walked out there, I couldn't believe that this was Haiti. But like I said, there are places that I've seen in America that look kind of similar. But anyway, we're going to digress from that. I remember, just having to buy little bags of water, like little pouches of water, just to have something to drink. It was heartbreaking. And the people there, as far as work go, as far as what I remember with the family, everybody was home all the time. And literally I think we spent like 2 weeks there. And every morning, it was just like, they came to mother, oh, what are we going to eat today? Right? And so she'd give money to go buy food again, because there's no refrigeration. You have to find your food every single day. And let's not even get into the toiletries, how that situation went. Hello, buckets, somebody. Not pretty. That was the experience. And this is what people go through there every single day. And it was just really heartbreaking to go through that experience. And a lot of people here in America, we take these kinds of things for granted, like the toilet. We take the bathroom for granted. In places like that, that is luxury living. And so the people there weren't lazy or not intelligent, or they didn't have ambition, but they've been in a system that's just broken. When we talk in America, they say, these necessities, we need this, we need that. Oh, these are human rights things. But a human right thing down there is literally drinking water. It's literally having a ice cube for that hot water. Like, those are luxuries. And so it really was heartbreaking to see it, and not to mention the filth and the garbage. And again, we can walk through California and LA and we can see these things. And it's like, this is what the country, and it was heartbreaking to see. So I just wanted to state that. So when I'm talking here, I've been there. I've seen it. I've seen the heartbreak. I've seen the trash. I've seen the garbage. And I'll say it in this moment. I don't remember seeing people around with guns. I don't remember that at all. But what I do remember is seeing the poverty. What I do remember is seeing the brokenness and the garbage and the trash and these kinds of things. I don't remember seeing guns and things like that just out there in the open. Yeah, like I said, this was back in 2011. Maybe it hadn't been taken over by the gangs just yet. I don't know, but I don't remember seeing that. Anyway, we'll move on from that. That was my experience there. But this brings us now to talking a little bit about who benefits when you see a nation suffering like that. Who benefits when you see the heartache and the brokenness? Who actually benefits? Because somebody benefits from the brokenness. Somebody benefits from the scarcity of water. Somebody benefits when the school are so broken and the children can't learn anything to get themselves out of poverty. They tell you that knowledge is power, and this is how you're going to pull yourself out of poverty. This is how you're going to, bring yourself to another level, how you're going to do these things. But if you can't learn in the schools, then again, who benefits? And again, it's just parallel, just thinking about it right here in this moment. being in the conservative space here in America, as I talk about what happens in our schools, in our inner city schools, and the kids can't learn. They don't even know their alphabet. They don't even know their ABCs. They don't even know how to count. They don't even know how to do anything. And it's the same setup. And I keep bringing it parallel. It's the same setup. When you look at the inner cities, these broken down communities where and I don't want to, again, I've moved on from where we say Democrat, Republican. In this moment, it's not just Democrat, Republican. It's about the oligarchs. It's about those people who are in control to keep the broken, to keep the poor, to keep the impoverished in poverty, to keep the oppressed. It's not really Republican and Democrat in my eyes anymore. It's about the oligarchs. It's about the people who pull the strings. And so when we look at our broken system schools here in America, and we advocate for school choice to pull them out of that, well, Haiti, they don't have no school choice, in my opinion. And I mean, please correct me in the comments if you know better than I. But when we look at these two, America, we have the ability to change our circumstance, right? We can put our children in Christian schools. We can pull them out and put them in private schools. We can pull them out and put them in different schools because the zip code upon which our schools are in are no good. We have the ability. We have options, right? So we have options to really educate our youth. Right? You can pull them in a different zip code. You got enough money. You can do what you can and give your child better. But in a place like Haiti, it's all the same thing. Everybody's in one place. And of course, I'm sure there's a level of elites who will always have better options for their children, right? They have the ability to take their children and put them in better schools and send them abroad to study. They have that ability. Again, we're talking about wealth and poverty. And so the wealthy will always be able to do better for their families, just like the wealthy here. And it brings me to a thought that I have right now, is that couple of weeks ago, I attended the Orange County mayor. They were having conversations and I attended. And there's one woman, she's running for Orange County mayor, Tiffany Russell. She has been an educator, I believe. She's been the circuit court. She's been in those spaces. And her husband is a principal of a school. And the funny thing is, I learned from somebody through the grapevine that her children, again, her husband is in the public schools. She is in the system of all of that, but her children went to private schools. They're advocating for your children to go to the public schools. They're working in the public schools, but their children don't go to the public schools. And it's the same thing. Again, those people, the oligarchs, those people who are at the top, who has the ability to do better for their children. And so now walks in Jimmy Barbecue. And Jimmy Barbecue is saying he wants better for the community. He is saying, I want to do better. I want better schools. I want better drinking water. I want better for the kiddies. I want better for the kids. Right? This is what he's saying. He's saying, I'm on the ground looking to do better for the community. But when you see an image of Jimmy Barbecue, a lot of people don't see that image of him holding a child in his hands. Let's see that again. Of him holding a child in his hands? No, what you see is him holding guns in his hands. This is the barbecue that the world knows. This is the barbecue that everybody knows. They don't see the other guy. They don't see the one looking to help children, but they see the warlord, the gangster, the monster. That's who they see. And that is what the mainstream media has portrayed him to be, this monster. And so I want to just hold off for a second because I've had the experience now being, I've been having this show. We've revamped it and called it whatever, called it the Amania Show. Before we were the Conservative Poet, doing talking head, covering the media a lot. I did a lot. If you look on the channel, I have I think it's like 1.7, over 1,000, almost 2,000 videos. So this is not an overnight operation, friends. I've been at this for a while. And so I've covered the media a lot. And so one of the things, and I remember President Trump would say, in the early days, CNN sucks, fake news. And, we all said, oh, fake news. And it was true. And as I covered the media all of these years, again, they push you a narrative. They feed you something that they feed you what they want you to see. And they hold off on what they don't want you to see. So if they want you to believe that barbecue is this human terror, this monster, then that's what they're going to feed you. And that's what you're going to get. Because that's the narrative that they are pushing. So hearing that CNN sucks or the media is fake news, it's not new. This is something we know. So why wouldn't that happen in other countries if it happens right here at home? Why wouldn't that happen in different parts of the world if we see it right here in our local newses, if we see it right here in these local spaces? So yeah, wherever the media wants to hide things, whether that's here, whether that it's in Haiti, whether that it's in places across the world and across, that's what it is. So we're gonna take a clipping now where Jimmy Barbecue is talking about how he got his name, and the thing is, Jimmy, again, you would think it's because he was roasting physical parts as barbecue and eating it up alive. Like he was literally killing people, cutting off their legs and throwing it on the cooker and having it for dinner. This is like the image that they've put out there. Like, this guy is a monster. He's literally barbecuing human beings and eating them. Now, I don't know. I mean, you hear things about Haiti. I don't know. But he's going to explain to us, no, this is a narrative that they've put out there. Again, the mainstream media has put this thing in your mind that he is some sort of, person who's out here cooking human beings. So Jimmy tells a different story. According to him, he says that his mother used to sell food on the streets, and because in his community there are multiple Jimmys, and so the barbecue kind of associated with his mother selling food, and it makes sense to me that, oh yeah, this would be what they would call him. Oh yeah, barbecue. His mother made barbecue. But again, the media makes you want to believe that no, this is not what it is. They present it so he can be judged. So anyway, let's hear Jimmy Barbecue Chérizier talk about himself and how he got the name barbecue.
And the system is trying everything to destroy me. I grew up with the name barbecue. Right here at Damasis, where I am currently living, there were many Jimmys and many people whose names were Jimmy. So in order to make the difference, to know who's which Jimmy, so everybody had a surname to differentiate them. There was a Jimmy, a soccer player, and a Jimmy Kakapo, and a Jimmy Falanle, which, those are kinds of surnames they give to everybody to differentiate them. My mother was a street vendor. She used to sell cooked food on the street. So I bear the name Jimmy Barbecue because my mother used to sell barbecue. Now that the system wants to destroy my character, so they use it and put a tag on it saying that, pretending that I'm the one who is burning people. I wanted the whole world to know that that has nothing to do with to see with truth. Nothing of that. I am a target just because I am fighting to change for the system to change. Those accusations are not based on any fact. As I said earlier, the system that I'm fighting today is very powerful. So they use the local and international media and human rights organizations to try to back me down. Anyone who dare stands against the system is accused of terror, is accused of all kinds of evil. As I'm a victim of the system who now decides to fight against the system. Now that I have become a threat for the system. Now they try to set up a system.
So again, he just explained the reason why his name is Barbecue. It's not because he was chopping them up and barbecuing them, friends. But we here in America, as I said, we watch the news constantly. And sometimes when you watch the news and you see the narrative that they're pushing, sometimes you have to question what is actually going on. Because a lot of times we see stories and they give you a narrative and you don't even, and then you have to pick it up in a different place and you say, wait a minute, I watched the 11 o'clock news. They didn't give it to me like that. I watched the 6 o'clock news. They didn't give it to me like that. But you pick it up on a different platform, you get a different narrative. And it's like, well, wait a minute. The news is here to give us, it should be unbiased news. What happened? Who was involved? Here it is. But that is not what we get. And so we're going to play another clip of Jimmy talking a little bit more about himself. Go on to the next clip for me, Phil.
All the media, the social media, just to try to weaken me. Now, the system is spreading a bad perception about me. And that's where the U.S. Authorities, the U.S. Organizations have failed, because they only believe what they hear. They do not investigate deeply to find the truth, but they just take what they hear for the truth. And then that's how they're destroying me. Because I'm denouncing, I'm fighting against the 5% of a little group of people that kidnap all the resources of the country. Is it because I'm asking for drinking water for the masses, schools, hospitals, better health, that makes me a criminal? We are all aware that there is a lot of corruption in Haiti, and Haiti is one of the top corrupt countries in the world. And this is what has brought Haiti so deep down into where it is now. Today, I have decided to fight against corruption and take the country and lead it to a better direction. This is what they are afraid of, and this is why they're using the local and international media to create that negative perception against me, just to try to destroy me, because I have decided to fight for what's right for the Haitian people, for Haiti. Those accusations come from the...
So I think that we've heard this story before. Corruption, fake news, the system. These are things that we hear all day, every day. And I want to say it now. I remember something called drain the swamp. Do you remember that phrase? Drain the swamp. In the days when that phrase was being called all over the country, I was still in a stupor, not aware, not fully engaged in what that really meant. I didn't know. And when I became alert and aware and I went down the rabbit hole, I picked everything up at that escalator when Donald Trump went down the escalator. I picked it up there and I went back. And this was back in 2018, 2019. So I did a reverse to go back to understand who Donald Trump was and what it meant to drain the swamp, what we were trying to drain. And of course, I understood. We were trying to drain corruption, fake news. We were trying to drain the narrative that they painted. We were trying to drain those tentacles in Washington, D.C., those oligarchs. We were trying to drain the swamp. Trump wanted the swamp to be drained. That meant going into D.C. and removing the Nancy Pelosi's and removing all of the tentacles in the swamp, including people on our own side, the Mitch McConnells, and removing all of these tentacles. Drain the swamp, drain the swamp. And even then, 2018, we were still at rallies, because that's when I started my rally journey. And I'm implementing myself in this conversation today. My first rally was here in Orlando, 2018, at the Amway. It was a rainy day, stood out there for hours. I'll tell the story in depth at a time. But my point was, we were still chanting, drain the swamp. We were still chanting that going into 2020. We didn't chant it so much going into 2024. But man, we were pumped for it in 2015, pumped for it in 2018, going into 2020. We were looking to drain the swamp. And you all know what I mean by that because I just said it. Pick that clip up for me, Phil, where he talks about the swamp.
The civil society and the human rights organizations who are supposed to be watching over the society are the most corrupt ones. The police officers who are supposed to protect civilians, to serve and protect, they are the most corrupt ones too. A lot of them are gang members. The HNP officers are involved in kidnapping. They are involved in organ trafficking, selling ammos and weapons. The 9 presidents, the ministers are involved in money laundering. Every day we hear about aid or support from the international community, but you would never see where they go. The insecurity that we're facing now is a result of corruption also. Everything is because of corruption. Let me take the opportunity to
So again, the tentacles he's talking about, the swamp he's talking about, the police that's there, the people in charge that's there, the people, and this is something else that's really important that I want to get into at a later date. I don't know if y'all picked up what he just laid down. The harvesting of organs, that's something we're going to talk about later, not today, but later as we continue to peel back the curtain on these top conversations and about the things that goes on in the country. But right now, what I want, Phil, I want you to go to about at 5:30 on that line and pick up right there where he talks about draining the swamp.
Most corrupt ones. The police officers that.
There's a place where he talks about President Trump.
He
brings Trump up to say what Trump wants to do was drain the swamp, and that's exactly what I want to do. I think he said it before.
They have legalized corruption in the country. The judges who would be on top of the corruption are the ones who are really most corrupt. The civil society and the human rights organizations who are supposed to...
We'll move on from that. I wanted to just play that part where he says that he wanted to drain the swamp. He congratulated President Trump and said, President Trump, great job on your reelection. Again, this video is a little bit older. Great job on your reelection. And all I want to do is drain the swamp the way you did. And in this moment, and the point that I wanted to make is tie it back to what we're currently seeing in the country right now, is that back in 2016, we were chanting drain the swamp. 2018, 2019, 2020, we were saying it drain the swamp. 2024, it seems that the drain the swamp thing kind of went away. And as we maneuver into 25 and 26, I don't see anybody out here screaming drain the swamp anymore? Is it because the ones who went to drain the swamp is now becoming a part of the swamp? That was a point I wanted to make for my own self, not about barbecue, but about the fight that we're seeing right here in our neck of the woods. Anyway, we're going to move on from that. So what did you hear when you looked at all of that? What did you hear about barbecue? I heard the heart of a man who is saying he wants to do better for his country. He wants to do better for his people. He wants to do better. Those are the things that I saw and I heard. He wants, Phil, I want you to play for me now the old clip, the news clipping.
Haitian gang leader Jimmy Chérizier indicted by a U.S. federal grand jury, immediately responding on social media.
My name is Jimmy Chérizier, barbecue. If the FBI wants me, I'm here. I'm willing to collaborate with them on one condition. There can be no lies told.
Chérizier, better known as Barbecue, accused by the US of engaging in a wide-ranging conspiracy to circumvent sanctions and raise funds for gang activities in Haiti. The newly appointed US Attorney for the District of Columbia announcing the indictment.
He is a notorious gang leader from Haiti who has orchestrated and committed various acts of violence against Haitians in Haiti.
Chérizier is one of the main leaders of Vivre Ensemble, the gang alliance designated as a foreign terrorist organization by the Trump administration in May. Chérizier indicted along with a Haitian-born, naturalized US citizen, Basil Richardson.
He has never sent any money to me to finance anything in Haiti. Stop with all those lies.
Chérezier's location in Port-au-Prince is well known to Haitian authorities. His compound is in Delmar 6, where I talked with him earlier this year, when he identified with the new US President, Donald Trump.
During his campaign, he said, we need to drain the swamp.
We need to drain the swamp.
That's the same thing I want to do in Haiti.
But gang warfare has drained Haiti of anything resembling normal life. The United Nations says its humanitarian response plan is only 9% funded, the lowest level of funding for any response plan in the world.
I often feel that I can't even find words any longer to describe the situation. Is it alarming? Is it acute? Is it urgent? It's all of that and even more.
Pirot with a warning to the Haitian diaspora.
We're coming after you.
So I wanted to play this clip just to give a little bit more better idea. Again, if you haven't been on the show, you haven't seen what we've been talking about, those images that you just saw, this is the images that's portrayed of Jimmy Barbecue wherever there's conversations of Haiti, of him. These are the things that you see. And so, again, if somebody wants to remove power, wants to showcase what's really going on in the country, and these people have the ability and the power and the resources to connect again with who? The mainstream media, to portray him as this is what he is. He is this monster, this gang leader, this person who is of no moral character, this evil, wicked person. But again, if this is a grassroots person trying to get, again, good drinking water, trying to remove corruption, trying to do better for the community, for the country, obviously they would portray him in that way. I want you to go, Phil, to our next set of clips with Victor Marx. And I'd like for you to play that first clipping. Yes. Uh-huh. It's the second set of videos. Yes, that's it. That's it. Play that for me.
how do we prove that he hasn't done all the horrible crimes that the ones that been laced with?
Ok, so telman gen moun ki di ou fè se si ou fè se la, ou fè tel zak, ou touye tel moun, se si se la. So, ki jan ou te ka pouve e tout moun sa ba vwe?
Li sorti d'un grand pays côté qui gagne justice, pas vrai?
You come from a big country, the United States, where there's justice, right? Justice is
On va ka baser sur ça moun dit, son va ka prouver.
You can't ever stand on anything and call it the truth without it being proved one way or the other, right?
Moi mette tout monde en défi pour prouver que m'gon
He said
massacre.
he's put everybody and said, prove, show me, come show me a bit of evidence, a photo, a video, any testimony of anybody. They haven't been able to prove anything. So in a real country, with like the United States has a justice system, he would have just been able to walk scot-free and he would have been cleared. And then he could have sued for the defamation of his character.
So again, he's stating here, there's no proof that I've done certain things. He says, you come from a country where justice prevails, pretty much. You know, what about my own justice? It has to be proven. You're innocent until proven guilty. But I've been condemned. They portray me as this guilty. Why? Because he walks around with the guns? So I also want to take another clipping. Go to the next one for me, Phil.
You know,
La mort sans jour.
La mort sans jour
Yeah.
has $1 million on his head.
Yeah, he said, la mort sans jour, gon $1 million sous tête li. Right? Vida Lom has 2 million.
You, nothing.
You, zero.
Ni la mort sans jour ni vite l'homme.
So right there, Victor Marx is stating that the other gang leaders, they have bounties, right? They're looking to get paid. There's money on their heads, but he doesn't. But we know now that from what we saw before, Janine Pirro, there's a $5 million on his head in reference to, and I made jokes last time that Victor Marx do know where he's at. He probably should be looking to collect on that. I'm just saying. Again, he's running for governor. He needs every penny he can get. But in any event, the point Victor Marx is making was that, you know, there's no bounty on his head. I want you to take the last clipping of that set for me, Phil. Go ahead.
Sorry. Monsieur Sorry respecte him parce que connaît pas jamais kidnapper moun.
He said they all respect him because he's never kidnapped anybody.
Right.
Monsieur Sorry connaît pas qu'on kidnapper moun, pas qu'on voler.
He doesn't kidnap people, he doesn't steal, and he's never killed anyone for money.
Okay.
Moi gars am même m'a font bataille pour me changer condition la vie moun qui pi mal la.
He said the guns that are in his hands and his group's hands, they're fighting for the change of the lives of the people around them.
Si te gon l'état sérieux qui te vle Haïti changer, yo t'a mettre tête là ensemble avec moi et que pour nous changer pays.
He said if the Haitian government was serious, they would come and have a dialogue and come together with the Vivre Ensemble guys and change the country for the betterment of the people.
So, I know this, and this is a very important point. So, to show legitimacy, because the world, the international community is saying he's the most powerful person in Haiti.
Communauté internationale lan yo di c'est ou même qui gagne plus pouvoir en Haïti.
Parce que moi j'ai leadership pour me réunir tout monsieur.
Because they see that he has leadership to put all the guys together.
Right.
Moi c'est moun yo pas ka acheter à tout.
And he's also one that they can't buy.
OK. Si me vle communauté internationale la prendre pour bon moun, m'a juste commencé faire job sale pour gouvernement.
He said if he wanted the international community to take him for a good person, then he would start doing the jobs, the dirty jobs for people, and he would work like he had a boss.
M'a suspend parler pour révolution, pas parler.
Then he would never speak about a revolution anymore. That's when they would love him.
Right.
Because he wouldn't be rocking the boat anymore.
M'a de l'eau pour moun encore.
Yeah.
So, right there, again, people who are in the grassroots movement, people who are on the ground, who sees things for what they are. And a lot of times we see things because we've been in the rooms, we've been in the protests, or we've been in these spaces where the media say one thing But we who's been on the ground, we would look at the news like, wait a minute, that didn't happen that way. It didn't go down that way. And I'm talking right now about a particular day. I ain't dropping nothing, but I'm talking about a particular day that we were on the ground and we saw how it happened. But the media said, this is what happened. And they turned it into something ugly. Again, the people with the power and the media can turn anything into ugliness and to turn anybody into a monster and can turn any situation into something that it was not. If we see this happen day to day in here in America on the ground, again, I'm talking to people who we've been on the ground together, seeing things happen, and then we see it differently on the news. Why couldn't it happen the same way in Haiti? Why doesn't it happen the same way in these different countries where the media oligarch take control of a narrative and they run with it and nobody ever gets the truth? Those were the points that I wanted to make today in reference to the Jimmy barbecue talk. I wanted us to see him and hear it in his own words, some of the things. And I want to tie it in with this. We just saw clippings of him and Victor Marx. And Victor Marx has been in Haiti. He's been in conversations with both Jimmy Barbecue and also the other gangs. We're going to play two clippings. And I want us to just tie Victor Marx into these things, but because he was there with both of these gang leaders. And so play me the first one of him with Jimmy Barbecue, the one that he's praying for Jimmy.
My name is Jimmy Barbecue Chérizier. I want to thank Victor Marx for coming to meet me and praying for me. We both care about children and a better Haiti. There's so much corruption and evil that causes suffering that only God can make the changes needed. I'm publicly letting everyone know that I have agreed with Victor Marx that no violence against children, orphanages, American missionaries, and any Haitian that help them will be tolerated by Vive Assam. Thank you.
Pray God as he surrenders more and more to you, Jesus, and sees everything as a spiritual war. You'd open his eyes. Pray you protect him from the wicked. Pray God angels would be around this home. Pray you fill him with your spirit, God. Give him eyes and heart. Increase his capacity for love. More than even himself, but that coming from you. Lord, let him know how many believers are praying for him, God. May justice come to this area and to this nation.
It comes to mind right now. I wonder if Jimmy Barbecue got a proper retooling. Off camera, I wasn't just praying for the brother, but he probably got a real retooling where he commanded to remove the demons out of barbecue. I'm just saying, couldn't help that one in this moment. So there he is with, now I'd like for you to play the other clipping of him with the other gang leader.
A U.S.-funded force of Kenyan peacekeepers has been here since June, but has so far failed to improve the situation. From Chérezier's stronghold, Marx and his team moved across town to meet with Lanmo Sanju, leader of the infamous 400 Mawozo gang, famous for kidnapping 17 American missionaries in 2021.
And he is steeped in black magic and voodoo.
We visited the town of Gontier, where the gang has been blocking the main artery to the north of Port-au-Prince. Marx's goal was to negotiate safe passage for residents to return.
This is the town of Gontier. It's about an hour outside of Port-au-Prince. It was taken over by gangs about 2 months ago, and now we're here to meet with that very gang, the 400 Mawozo gang, to see if we can get them to allow the people to come back to their homes.
Can we pray?
He said he has no problem with
Okay. So, Father, I thank you for this man. I pray, Jesus, that you would make yourself real to him. I pray you deliver him from any demonic forces that may drive and confuse. Just like the people here. So bless him, protect him, Give him wisdom. Look, in Jesus' name, amen. 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 Okay.
Well, look at that. Proper retooling. So, friends, I wanted us to just take a look at that, hear from Jimmy Barbecue, and hear, some of the things, because a lot of times when you see these visuals, maybe other things is going on. But I actually want to thank Victor Marx for even presenting this, because it shows you a human side of barbecue that people probably normally wouldn't see. And so, I thank him for bringing this conversation forward. He's out there, in the war zone, on the ground, boots on the ground type thing. And I want to say, thank you to him, because we probably wouldn't have been able to get that kind of a footage from that. So, friends, we're going to end this segment here with Victor Marx and Jimmy Barbecue. And what do you guys think? Talk to us in the comments about, what do you think about barbecue, Victor Marx, and everything that's happening there. Let's do that in the chat. And I want to hear from you all. I really, really do. So please do that. So we're going to move on into the culture corner. And before we get into Culture Corner, I want to say once again, amplify your voice. You can do that with our super chat option, like, share, comment, all of that. We appreciate your help because we want to take this to the next level. And I want you to comment, pray for Haiti. Pray for Haiti, because we need everybody to pray for Haiti. And so now in Culture Corner, we've got a couple of stories. We'll see if we can get into all of them. We're talking today about Congressman Thomas Massie. He is a beloved congressman now. He was loved by the late, great Charlie Kirk. I don't know if you know it. They can't erase that because he was loved. He was actually Charlie's, I believe, favorite congressman. Now, if you don't know much about the congressman, he has been a one who doesn't fold on any of these bills that come across that's filled with slop. He's not one to say okay on all of it. He's one to stand the line and say no. Some say he could actually be the truest MAGA congressman there is, because there's been a lot of things that's come across. He was like, no, this is not good for the American people. The amount of fat that they've put in there, the amount of pig fat that they've put in there, it's not good. No matter how much you dress up a pig and put lipstick on it, it's no good for the American people. And that is the kind of congressman Thomas Massie has been. He has been in office, I think, for about 15 years. So he has been elected about 7 times, because every 2 years. Yep. So the people has loved him, and he's been in Congress for a very long time. Now, if you're sitting on my side of the aisle right now, and I'm going to say it, I am all for term limits. He's been in 15 years. I think if you go in and you can get it done in 5 years, come on, 6 years, come on, 2 years, 4 years, you can do that. 15 years, you've been in a long time. So he is a good congressman. I feel like we've lost a good guy, but again, term limits, go in, do what you got to do and get out, right? And so now he's out. But he didn't get out. I think he got out in a really, really bad note. Why do I say that? He got out in this way because a lot of money was poured into into this race. It was actually the most expensive congressional race, House seat race in history. A lot of money went into this. And a lot of money went into this from foreign actors, from foreign countries. How is it that a foreign country can influence an election in America?
Huh?
Now, if we remember, Russia, that's what that conversation was all about. A foreign entity influencing American elections. A dog with a bone that went on for years. Russia. People were up in arms that foreigners could have infiltrated or caused an election to go a different way. But we just witnessed it in the Massey race. Foreign money came into this election. Foreign money came into this election and caused Thomas Massey to lose his seat. I want to take us back in time. I meant to play this clip earlier, but I want to take us back in time and hear from a previous president. I don't know if you guys know it. I'm a Nixonite. And Nixon is talking about some things here. Let's play the clip.
You make the observation in your book, and you say that you have said it many times when you were president of the United States, that no president is ever going to desert Israel, right?
Correct. I put it more bluntly. I said, as I told congressional leaders during the 1973 Yom Kippur War, no American president will let Israel go down the tube.
All right.
Democrat or Republican, it's not an issue.
That is stated fairly categorically, and yet in your book you make it clear at the same time that Israel really is not of any enormous strategic value to the United States anymore.
That's correct.
So why then would the United States continue to burden itself with huge loans, in some cases outright grants, to the Israelis, jeopardize possibly young American fighting men, when there is no strategic value involved, or little strategic
Because the
value?
United States is concerned by more than strategic values. That's maybe a weakness, but it's the way we are. And there are moral issues involved here. We don't have an alliance with Israel. As you know, they're not an ally of the United States in the technical sense. But we have a bond to Israel that's much stronger. It's a moral commitment. A moral commitment because of what happened during the Holocaust, and a moral commitment because it is a democracy, the only democracy in that area. And under the circumstances, that is why American presidents and the American people in the future will support all out the survival of Israel if it's attacked.
You've always been a very tough, pragmatic man. And I just wonder if you were the president of Israel and you heard Richard Nixon talking that way, or for that matter, heard any sitting American president talk that way, and say, but there's really no strategic value anymore, how much faith would you place in that kind of a moral commitment if push really came to shove?
If I were the president of Israel, I put a great deal of faith in it because of the track record of the United States, and also because he would know that that is the way the American people are. There is no doubt whatever of our commitment to Israel.
I wonder. No doubt whatsoever, no matter what, we will stand by Israel, no matter what. We will stand by them, whatever the case may be, because it's a moral commitment. We are morally committed. We will stand by no matter what. Even if this could be Russia all over again. Because in Russia, a foreign entity was accused of meddling in our elections. In this Thomas Massey election, a foreign entity, not accused, there's paper trail, there's receipts of where the money came from that interfered, that had Thomas Massey lose his seat. Again, foreign interference in an American election, but it's going to be allowed because of who that foreign entity is. Let's take a quick note. We have another video that we're going to play about Thomas Massie and his race. And this is the one where President Trump speaks.
MAGA is most of the Republican Party. The rhinos are gone to a large extent. A few of them are still left, so hopefully we get rid of one tonight in the form of Tom Massie, who's horrible.
In a final push to sway Republican voters in Kentucky's primary, President Trump made his closing pitch Monday night, urging them to reject Congressman Thomas Massie in one of the most expensive primary races in the state's history.
I'll be doing hopefully a very powerful tele-rally tonight for a friend of mine, Ed Galrain, who is a fantastic man, a fantastic hero, war hero, farmer from Kentucky's running against the worst congressman, in my opinion, worst Republican congressman in the history of our country.
Now, Trump has thrown his support behind Massie's challenger, Ed Galrain, a retired Navy SEAL and farmer, turning the race into a broader proxy battle over MAGA loyalty within the Republican Party. That effort has drawn in high-profile allies, including Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, who made a rare appearance on the campaign trail Monday night, telling voters that Washington cannot afford elected officials who are consistently opposing the president.
At some point, being against everything becomes an excuse for accomplishing nothing. At some point, constant obstruction is not leadership, it's just commentary. It's obstruction. President Trump does not.
Thank you, Pete Hegseth, Secretary of War. So as you can see, they were able to pull out the big tough guys to go and rally against Thomas Massie. And again, the only thing Thomas Massie has done is a couple of things. He's against this war in Iran, because once upon a time, Donald Trump himself, no more wars. We're done killing our boys and girls for foreign countries. We're done with that. No more wars. MAGA, MAGA, MAGA. America first, all the way from A to Z. America first, all day, forever. But here we are in a war. And Massie is saying, wait a minute. We said no more wars. Why are we in a war? Well, Massie, if you can't get on board with the war, we're going to get you out. And when we are in this war, who is the benefit? Obviously, even back then, Nixon just said it. There's nothing. America gains nothing from this country. America gains nothing from this country. But here we are in a war because of weapons of mass destructions that will probably never hit America. But we're in a war. And Thomas Massie said, no, we don't want this. It doesn't benefit the American people. It's no good for America. And so the machine came together and they took down Thomas Massie. Let's play the next one for me, Phil.
I would have come out sooner, but I had to call my opponent and concede, and it took a while to find Ed Galrain in Tel Aviv.
There, hold it with Tatum. Bring me up. Look at Brandon Tatum's face, you guys. Now, the Officer Tatum is one of those guys, MAGA, hard MAGA, right? And he doesn't seem to get the joke when Thomas Massie say, you know, I had to call Tel Aviv to concede, right? And here's Tatum. What do you mean? Look at the look on his face. What do you mean? I don't understand. Why is Tel Aviv got to do with this? What Tel Aviv got to do with this? What you mean? Play it for me.
Call through though. I have called and conceded the race. We've been honorable the whole time, and we're going to stay that way.
What Tel Aviv got to do with it? The people in Kentucky didn't want you there because of your decision making on.
What Tel Aviv got to do with it? I mean, it's the seriousness of him. What Tel Aviv got to do with it? Officer Tatum, Brandon Tatum, the Officer Tatum. I would advise you, brother, to go and find out who killed your friend Charlie Kirk. Go investigate that. Anyway, I got one more for Massey, because what I find is that we have Tucker. I want to play that Tucker clip because Tucker sees it one way, Tatum sees it a different way, and I believe that Tucker Carlson is right on the money because play Tucker for me.
Massey says, well, it's AIPAC. They're the ones opposing me. It's not a groundswell of support for my opponent, Ed, whatever his name is, Gallrin or Gallrein. No one even knows how to pronounce his name. He's not is he a real person? I don't know. His only real meaningful campaign pledge is to bring back the draft. Vote for me and I will take your child and send him to go die for Israel. He made that pledge. Massey's point is this guy only has a chance because AIPAC is on his side. That's anti-Semitic. Really now. Let's see what AIPAC has to say about it. Minutes after Massey was declared the loser, the dreaded AIPAC, whose name we're not allowed to say, sent out this tweet. Pro-Israel Americans are proud to help defeat anti-Israeli candidates. The second Massey loses, AIPAC announces, we did it. We bumped this guy off. We're literally an unregistered foreign lobby who exists not to help the United States or its citizens, but a foreign country whose population in a lot of ways hate Christian Americans. That's why they're spitting on nuns. That country doesn't like this member of Congress. Therefore, we're going to take him out. And by the way, we did. AIPAC is saying out loud something that if you said out loud might get you fired from your job.
Thank you to the great Tucker Carlson. Keeping it 100, as the cool kids would say, keeping it 100. And that's what Tucker had to say. And unlike Brandon Tatum, I feel like we're crossing the line in the sand where the conservatives who truly are conservative, like all of us who was standing in the line, calling this for what it is, calling that for what it is, calling the COVID for what it is, wouldn't wear the mask, was against these things, the MAGAs who was there. I am so surprised to see that these same people don't have the same smoke, the same backbone to call things out for what it is. Brandon Tatum said, well, what Tel Aviv got to do with this? And Tucker Carlson is saying, wait a minute, this is Russia all over again, where we have a foreign country who's out here boasting that they interfered in our elections. But Tatum is saying, what Tel Aviv got to do with this? It's Russia, Tatum. Except it's a different country name. The country that will not be named. That we have a moral obligation to. No matter what they do, even interfering in our elections. So next I'd like to play a quick video of Thomas Massey and what does the future hold for the great Congressman Thomas Massey.
Outgoing Congressman Thomas Massey is preparing to run for office again. Massey was voted out by voters in Northern Kentucky earlier this month, who chose Trump-backed Ed Gallrein to replace him. Massey filed a statement of candidacy from the Federal Elections Commission, which allows him to raise funds for a campaign. Massey says he has not made a final decision if he will run or what office he would seek.
Don't mess with the Masseys. Don't mess with the Masseys. He has now filed to run for an office. Don't know which office, but he's filed to run. Do we dare say maybe 2028? The MAGA boys? The Trump boys might have a challenger. Do we even dare say that? a man of integrity could come along in 2028 to kick up the waters, as Jesus would say? I don't know. Tell me in the comments, what do you think? Massey's filed to run again for something. After being in the Congress for 15 years, I don't think he needs to go back in there. I think he needs to look for a new seat. Maybe that's the Senate. Maybe that's the Oval. Who knows? Don't mess with the Masseys. Oh gosh, we've gone. Oh, there it is. Thank you, Phil. Don't mess with the Masseys because they come lock and loaded for whatever. Thank you, Thomas Massey, for your service to our country. And so, friends, we've gone like so far ahead. Our next story, we are going to hold off on that. We're going to give that to you next week because it really does deserve a good quality time. And we're going to go into that next week. And so be prepared because this story that we're going to look at next week, it's about your telephone and going to churches and how your phones are targeting you for propaganda from the country that will be left unknown again. We have a moral obligation to them, even when we're in church and they're collecting data on you and presenting you with propaganda. It is the way it is. But we're going to dive into that next week, so make sure y'all come back so you can get that. So we're going to go into our follow-up of Take Back Summer because this was an amazing prayer that happened over the week on Friday the 29th. It was powerful and the Lord showed up. And again, we were praying. We are still praying. We're praying for the youth of this country. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, there has been this teen takeover of places around the country where teens are taking over the street, causing craziness, mass looting and rioting and all this stuff. They're just out there causing chaos. And so we are praying for them because their eyes have been hijacked. Their brains have been hijacked. Their bodies have been hijacked. And so we've been praying. And Phil, I want you to put on the screen for me what happened Friday at prayer when we called on the Lord for the youth. So they came out, that was just the warm-up, that was just worship. But we prayed, and Phil, can you pull that up for me? And what we prayed about, there's a picture there in reference to the prayers. Everything that we were praying for revelation for Jesus. We're praying for the fear of the Lord, praying for hearts to repent. Again, all of these kids, for the blinders to be removed, praying for light of Christ to shine forth in the darkness, praying for the outpour of the Spirit and the power of God, praying for the mighty move of God for salvation and deliverance, praying for the revival and awakening. We're praying against rebellion, praying against violence, praying against deception, praying against lust and perversion. These were the things. Prayer focus. This is what the prayer focus was for God to do a dynamic thing. And so we are continuing to pray. So you pray in your private time. You pray. Prayer warriors, please continue to pray as we continue to push forth through the summer, because we need to keep calling on the Lord to help these youth. So thank you again. The Burning Ones, go to their page, their Instagram, Burning Ones, like it, see that. Go to their content. You're going to see a lot of clips of the things that they're putting out there. They are combating the violence. This is the thing. We've got the good and the evil. The Burning Ones are literally young people on fire for Jesus doing the work. And they are combating the violence and the crazy and the chaos that we see in the street. So pray for them. So I thank you very much for coming along today for this amazing conversation. We barbecued it up. Hello, barbecue. We're not talking human parts. We barbecued it up and we presented his side of things. So thank you all again for your comments. And I want to just touch bases really quickly on, we had a comment from last week's show. And again, amplify your voice. We want to be able to present to you, to the public, to the community, as you present your comments. We had a great comment, and I want to just read it right now. This was a very thoughtful and provoking breakdown of highly controversial topic. He says, I appreciate how the video presented both Corby Hall's allegation and Victor Marx' denial, while encouraging viewers to think critically for themselves. That's what we try to do here. The discussion around the alleged 50,000 rifle request, the timeline of the original conflict, and the ethical questions raised throughout the analysis made for a compelling and engaging watch. Oh, I like that. Excellent work presenting a complex issue in a way that sparks meaningful discussion. So thank you very much to the community for presenting that comment. Thank you, viewer. Bring them up again for me, Phil. I can't see. Isatak Ahmed. Okay, well, thank you very much for that comment. He actually commented a few times, so he is definitely a top commenter. Thank you very much. And again, friends, with the super chat, we can do that immediately on the show. So when you do your super chats, when you send that out at the end of the show, we will take some time and go over that and really engage with you and present you into the conversation. If that is something you would like to do, again, please use that super chat, because it does help the channel out and it continues to encourage us to bring you this amazing content and this amazing conversation on the Amania Show. And again, don't forget to go to amaniasolace.com. Our website, it's up now, it's running, amaniasolace.com. Go purchase a mug, hello, purchase a t-shirt, hello, and support the show. And thank you very much. Rule the Spirit. And again, I love this one. This is part of the Fruits of the Spirit collection. Ruling the Spirit means ruling the body. As we present to you these very complex conversations, sometimes I get really, really excited. I get really, really, passionate in my delivery, and I literally have to rule the spirit to take it down a notch. So we're going to say thank you to you all for your participation in the conversation. God bless you and keep you. And don't forget, Amania Nights, we come with a sword, the sword of truth. We'll see you next Wednesday.